KZMB All Zombie Radio.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Limited Series Lounge. We're talking about the devil in disguise. I'm gonna text Akira really quickly. This is kind of an unusual time, so I'm wondering if she forgot. Okay, hold on. Let's see what she says. All right. Why is everything so like screen? Hold on a second here, folks. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's probably part of it. Okay, there we go. There we go. Anyway, good morning. This is a special edition. The things to do yesterday. Sorry. Holidays are really crazy for me. They're crazy for everybody, but they're especially crazy for me. And so I have a lot of events upcoming. And sorry, I'm just checking on the live. I have a lot of events upcoming, and so hold on. Why did I think it was 10 a.m.? Oh no. Oh no. Okay. She hasn't finished the episode. She hasn't finished the episode yet, so but we'll give her a second to get here. Anyway, I have a lot of events upcoming and that's why we're taking 2 weeks off. It's not just for holidays, but because I also have a lot of events. And so yeah, it's just kind of busy and there's a lot crammed into a very short period of time. So, we decided to opt for Saturday morning so I could get this done and then go to another event today. I'm tired. I'm so tired. Um, Kira will be here in a moment. She's signing on now. It's in the middle of her watch, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Okay, and we are going over episodes 3 and 4 today of The Devil in Disguise, John Wayne Gacy on Peacock. Not the docu-series, the drama. Not to be confused for the docu-series of the same exact name. How can anyone keep track of this? You know what I mean? Like, how can anyone keep track of this? All right. So it's so annoying because, like, in some places it says that the episodes have no names, but they do have names. It's just stupid. Anyway, episode 3 was entitled Samuel and Randy, and episode 4 is entitled Billy. Obviously, it's the stories of the people that he offed. Um, so episode 3, the little synopsis is the media circus begins. Amarante questions whether defending Gacy is the right thing. The Peace cope with the reality of what Gacy did to Rob. Sam Stapleton and Randy Reffitt navigate boyhood in Uptown. Episode 4, a psychiatrist uncovers Gacy's dark history while Tovar and Kozenzak examine how systems failed to stop his murders. Meanwhile, Billy Kindred and Mary Jane's romance develops. Um, I have to say, I'm really thankful that we're taking breaks in between these episodes because, like, the next 2 weeks we're not gonna meet. We're gonna have off because these episodes are like so heavy, so heavy. I'm having a hard time processing. And like I spread these out this time. Like last time I watched them back to back, it was rough. This time I was like, okay, let me not do that to myself. Let me watch them separately. It's just as rough. It's just as rough. It's just hard to see all the lives ended early, it's just tough. So, the show continues to be extremely well acted, incredibly emotional, um, and just super sad. But what I will say is, and I've talked to our viewers about this. I think it was before we covered this, but I have very little interest in the monster series on Netflix done by Ryan Murphy, because what I've heard about it is that it really tries to like humanize the killers in a way, and I just have such a hard time with that. I think this has done a really good job of balancing you knowing the full story of who John Wayne Gacy is with the fact that he was a monster. Uh, and so you get less of that feeling of like, oh, well, I should feel bad because of mental illness or whatever. Like that's, you know what I mean? It's just like it's dangerous for mental illness to feel that way. Um, so anyway, let me get into some articles for these episodes. Hold on one moment. I have to do everything on my phone now because like the computer gets so laggy for whatever reason when I open stuff up. So let me not do that to you where I'm like freezing on the screen like that. Okay. Devil in disguise. I forgot what I was doing. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Oh, weird. Oh, there's Kira. Great. Hi.
Hi, I'm so out of it that I just tried to click the YouTube watch link to log
Nope. I did send you both, but nope.
in.
Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so I was just talking about how like this show is really heavy and it's been kind of hard to watch, and I'm glad that we have 2 weeks off after this because of that, cuz it's like it's hard to sit through, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Not that like I said, the episodes are wonderfully acted and it's very well done. It's just hard content to watch. And this comes from someone who like I enjoy learning more about true crime, but for whatever reason, this one has been brutal. And I was saying that
Well, especially because it's not documentary style, so I find
yeah,
myself like feeling like, oh, maybe this one'll make it, knowing
knowing
that
that's
he's
not at all how
not.
this goes. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Why am I worried that John Wayne Gacy's going to get off for murder?
right.
That's not going to happen. I just stumbled across an article called "The Devil in Disguise: John Wayne Gacy and Monster: The Ed Gein Story Are True Crime Polar Opposites." Because I was stating that I, oh, your sound is it's playing me through your mic.
Is it?
Yeah, I can
Hmm.
hear me. Let's see. That happened one time before, and you just moved your phone and it fixed it. So,
Um, okay, let me put both
oh,
in and see if that makes a difference.
okay. Oh, was your AirPod near the phone?
Yeah.
Maybe that was why. Maybe that
Did
was
it stop?
no.
Hold on. Okay. Of course. Of course. I'm just gonna. I mean, my house is quieter,
Okay.
so
Hello. Yeah, I don't hear me now. Okay.
okay.
I don't know. That fixed it for whatever reason. Anyway, I was talking about how like yes, you're right. Like it doesn't humanize him, but it humanizes the victims in a very different way.
Mhm.
because it gives them a whole life that you're seeing. And maybe that's why women in particular were notoriously noted for loving true crime. Okay. It's like a thing now. But I have to say, there is a real level of detachment in watching, news stories and interviews versus getting to know these people in a context outside of their victimhood, right?
Even like and oh, of course I can't remember names, but the main boy who like got it started of him being arrested.
Peace, Ralph.
Yes, Beast.
Hmm.
Um every time I see his mom, I'm like so stressed out.
I know, it's
And
heartbreaking.
it's like essentially all the true crime or most of the true crime cases have a mom who probably reacted like this woman, but
We don't see it.
yeah.
Or when we do see them, oftentimes it's been after some time has passed and they've been able to process. So it's
Mhm.
just a drastically different version of them that we're seeing. And I was saying that the reason I don't really ever want to watch the Monster series on Netflix is because I've heard that Ryan Murphy really tries to humanize the killers in that.
Mm.
Um and make them like, because they've gone through things like, and that's fair. We know from watching true crime that serial killers often have had, not always, here's the thing, not always, that's why they can't explain what does it in the brain, but have oftentimes had a pretty traumatic upbringing in some way or
Mhm.
another, right? And so, um, and I understand that, but you can't, like, if you go too much into that, you go too far into humanizing them, then,
Mhm.
and then you start to feel for the person committing these heinous crimes. And that's just like a really slippery slope and a really dangerous path to take when you're telling these stories. And so this article is interesting because it's mentioning that it's asking the question, like, is it possible to retell a tragedy without exploiting the victims?
Mhm.
Okay. And I would have to say, and they say, like, not only that, but can you recreate these deaths without sensationalizing or even glorifying the killer responsible? Okay. And I'm just gonna go ahead and read the article because it's interesting. This was in, yeah, where was this was in Mashable. This was written last month, October 18th, by Bellen Edwards. All right. These questions have created a genre that's at war with itself, one that's aware of both its ethical dubiousness and the fact that viewers will gobble it up to sate their true crime fascination. This October has offered up two shows that take extremely different approaches to solving this quandary: Netflix's Monster, the Ed Gein story, and Peacock's Devil in Disguise, John Wayne Gacy. The former continues the formula that Ryan Murphy and Ian Brennan established in other installments of their Monster anthology series, a mix of salacious reenactments and ham fisted commentary about America's fascination with true crime. The latter, though, takes a much more careful tack to the question of true crime media as inherently exploitative. Sorry, exploitative, foregoing on screen murders entirely in favor of a victim centric approach. The Ed Gein story offers exactly what viewers have come to expect from Murphy and Brennan True Crime Project, which is to say that it does not shy away from on screen violence. Bloody chainsaw massacres and hammer torture are among the atrocities on display, and they're far from the only ones. The Ed Gein story also adds more unsavory details, including a scene of Gein engaging in necrophilia. Although there was a real life speculation that Gein was a necrophilic, Gein himself denied these charges. The result is a parade of graphic atrocities conjured up for cheap shock value, upsetting and exhausting in equal measure. While the violence in the Ed Gein story is as in your face as can be, Devil in Disguise avoids showing any of Gacy's murders in the first place. Gacy will occasionally describe his actions, but the actual images of his crimes loom off screen. The effect is twofold. On one hand, the show is respecting Gacy's victims by not recreating their deaths. And on the other hand, the implied violence leaves audiences to imagine what befell Gacy's victims, and the effect is more chilling than any on-screen rehashing of victims' trauma. Instead of showcasing Gacy's murders, Devil in Disguise turned the spotlight on his victims, hoping to flesh out knowledge of their lives beyond just their deaths. Most episodes are named after these young men and feature flashbacks leading up to their meeting with Gacy. Episode 2, Johnny, centers on John's says sick sick. I am not okay. Um, a gay high schooler trying to figure out how to come out to his parents. Episode 5, haven't gotten there yet. Billy and Dale highlights two Chicago sex workers. There are a variety of stories on display, but for the police investigating these missing persons cases, they paint every victim with the same brush: troubled. Due to their queerness, their jobs as sex workers, or their prior run ins with law enforcement, people like John, Billy, and Dale aren't priorities for police, allowing Gacy to get away with murder for years. Devil in Disguise showcases these prejudices with the same unflinching emphasis that other true crime may place on the murder. It's worth noting that the first installment of Monster, Dahmer, attempted a somewhat similar approach to Devil in Disguise, and it highlighted police prejudice against Dahmer's victims. And Netflix even claimed the series would, quote, give the victims a voice. Yet the show did not consult victim families at any point before, during, or after production. That's crazy. Going as far as to recreate court scenes portraying still living family members of Dahmer's victims without even the courtesy of a heads up. The online backlash was severe. As Devil in Disguise hones in on police prejudice, the Ed Gein story clumsily tries to make a point of its own that the people watching are the real monsters. Nothing like a TV show to make you feel bad about yourself. You know what I mean? Like, okay, Ryan Murphy, you're the one making these.
Mhm.
You think you're better than everybody else? Like, get out of here. The series examines not just Gein's crimes, but also how they inspired legendary films like Psycho, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and The Silence of the Lambs. And in doing this, the Ed Gein story hopes to interrogate American audiences' desire for fictional violence, even as they turn away from real life atrocities. You're the one who can't look away, Gein tells viewers in a fourth wall break, implicating us in his acts. Yet, the Ed Gein story's indictment of its own viewers falls flat as the show fails to consider its own place in the true crime ecosystem. It's perfectly content to draw connections between Gein and other pieces of media, including a wildly offensive parallel between Gein and psycho actor Anthony Perkins, but never looks inward at how it too is sensationalizing violence for audience consumption. How dare you keep watching? The Ed Gein story scolds viewers, all while Murphy and Brennan prepare to turn out a fourth season of Monster. It's 8 episodes of sanctimony without self awareness. While the Ed Gein story loathes its audiences for watching its nastiness, even as it serves up its gore on a human skin platter, Devil in Disguise appeals to audience compassion. The show knows that the Gacy name will inevitably draw viewers, which is why it opts to shed new light on Gacy's victims and their families, as opposed to delivering bloody shocks. Each episode ends with a link to a website that delves into how the issues that made Gacy's victims vulnerable persist today. And what the viewer can do is take action. The site, which is in partnership with GLAAD, Covenant House, and the National Sexual Violence Resource Center at Equimundo, also offers resources like the Trevor Project Crisis Hotline and an anti-LGBTQ plus bill tracker. Devil in Disguise is by no means a perfect true crime. Occasionally, it falls into the monster trap of sensationalizing Gacy's story, such as macabre sequence that juxtaposes him picking up young men with him donning his clown makeup. However, that's the only time Devil in Disguise actually shows any of Gacy's clowning. Whereas a show like Monster would have leaned far harder into the killer clown angle. That level of excess has defined true crime dramatizations for years now, but Devil in Disguise suggests a different and much needed new route forward for the genre: restraint. Anyway, it's just interesting to hear someone else talk about it because um, it's been my feeling about it this whole time, and so I was like really glad that no one has asked us to cover the monster series. I really just don't want to watch it, honestly.
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
Um and now knowing that the victims' families were not contacted is really
Mm-hmm.
concerning to me. Because like I said, I used to know someone who's related to one of the victims of Dahmer. And I can only imagine how upsetting that must have been for him
Mm-hmm.
to find out that this was coming out, which again, his issue with that, as any victim's family's issue would be, is the sensationalization of the person who killed your family member.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I it's a hard balance, right? Like, because like I like true crime. I'm interested in true crime, but I'm not interested in true crime because I like serial killers. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, interested in true crime because I think it's interesting and there's a lot of psychology behind it that I find interesting. But I don't, you know what I mean? Like, this is devastating to the
Actually,
people
I
involved.
wanted I wanted to make sure I mentioned like I keep finding watching this series that I actually keep getting mad at myself because I keep laughing at things that John Wayne says.
Sure. Yeah. There's some comedic element to it. Yeah.
Like, and it's not even like it's just like a natural react. He'll say something and like we both like kind of busted out laughing and then stop like,
Let me not.
yeah,
Yeah. Let me not. Well, yeah. I mean, this is, as long as you're laughing at him, like, I think it's probably
right.
fine. It, yeah, it's like I said, it's hard, and it's hard when we're so used to the disassociated nature of the typical like docu series. So we're receiving everything through the lens of like news reports and after the fact, and so it just lends itself to feeling a little more detached. This is causing you to really sit in it,
Mm-hmm.
um, with these people, and not only is it emotionally, it's kind of hard. It's also makes it easier to kind of get swept up in it as like a television series.
Mm-hmm.
But this is real. This really happened. I mean, these people really died. Um, John Wayne Gacy really was, this kind of person. Uh, I don't know. It's a hard balance. I think the show's doing a good job of it. Especially comparatively to other things that are out there right now. Um, anyway, okay. So how far did you get? Because you said you stopped. You just stopped watching to come on here. So what did you get to?
Not very much
Okay,
because I started with episode 2 since I didn't watch that last
that's true. You were behind. Okay, okay, that's true. Okay, well, the
So I
beauty of
just
2 weeks off, you'll have time to get caught up
I
now.
know.
Yeah.
I had a horrible night and like I was supposed to wake up early, but I went to sleep so late
Yeah.
that just none of it happened. And then I wake up and I'm like, why did my alarm? Because I had my alarm set and everything. And
Hmm.
I pick up my phone and the alarm is still silently going off. I'm like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, I know I fell asleep last night, uh, for like a half an hour maybe, and then woke up and then had a really hard time going back to bed. So I didn't go back to bed until like 1 something in the morning, and I was like, this is really going to be bad.
Yeah.
It's really going to be bad. Cuz I had to watch episode 4 this morning. I knew that, but the days get away from us. Anyway, so 3 and 4 we're covering today. Um it sounds like Kira maybe only watched 3 or part of 3.
Part of 3.
Okay.
I
Um
was supposed to watch yesterday, but then of course we get smacked with, can you drive my girlfriend back to New Jersey? That's 6 hours. I
oh
was like, oh,
goodness.
great. Great. Okay. Let's do that.
Surprise! That's
Yeah.
some children for you. um, yeah. So, okay. So, essentially, in these two episodes, the first of the two is about kind of like I'm gonna use the word ruffians. It's some normal kids, honestly, in Uptown, who you know just are getting involved in fighting and other things like that. Um, maybe not the best upbringing due to like financial situations. Mom's doing her absolute best, and and um, and both boys end up at the end of the episode talking about looking for a job. They're gonna go talk to this guy who runs a construction business, and so we can assume what happens after that. Episode 4 focuses on Billy Kindred, um, which is it's just a super sad story. I mean, all of these stories are sad, but it's hard to see their storyline,
Mhm.
and know what was going on in their lives. And Billy falls in love with a girl and really wants to make it work with her, and so he finds a guy who's maybe willing to give him a chance on a construction job, and that's the end of that. Um, And so so the end of episode 4, Takira, you haven't seen this, so this is going to be a little bit of spoiler, but I don't know if it's true or not what happens. I assume it is because I don't know why else they would have included it. But I believe her name is Marilyn, Billy's fiance.
Mhm.
She is out at a bar. This is after Billy has gone missing. Okay. I imagine she reports it. He's got a criminal record. The police don't care. And we'll get to that in a second because episode 4 really showcases the corruption in the Chicago PD. Gacy shows up at the bar that she's at and gives her a drawing of her that he has done and says, "You just looked so nice," as he gives it to her. And I don't know if that actually happened or not, but that is such evil behavior
What is wrong with him?
to know that you killed her fiance and then show up somewhere that she is to provide a photo for her that you've drawn this little picture. And you're not even a good artist. That's the other thing. Your art is crap, dude. You're like not even good at it. Um it's so frustrating. So, okay, so episode 4 really showcases the Chicago PD storyline. Tovar and Kozenzak go to um someone in the police department and say like, "Hey, we need to know what happened here. Gacy was in your city for 10 years. I've got bodies just crazy under this house and I'm trying to figure out what happened and these boys were all reported to you as missing and you
Mm.
didn't do anything." And Tovar is mad and like unable to hold his tongue in a very this ideally should have been a very diplomatic conversation.
Mhm.
It's not because Tovar like cannot hide his anger as we've seen. This is like
Yeah.
Tovar has a rough time with his emotions, and the other detectives are also kind of cracking. I cannot remember the name of the guy who smells the body in the house. That detective,
Mhm.
the older guy of the two, but he is also cracking under the pressure. He is having a really hard time because he's doing every day is going to the house and excavating bodies,
Mhm.
and he's just having a really rough time. So Tovar kind of flips on this guy and is just very accusatory about how this was mishandled. Now, to be fair to the Chicago Police Department, which no corruption in Chicago, what a surprise. Um, to be fair, it is large. It's a large city. I'm sure your police department, even to this day, does a ton every day.
Mhm.
Each precinct is probably doing a crazy amount of work. But when Tovar, because Kozenzak is like pissed that Tovar is acting out because the guy they're talking to calls him out Like your job is to keep your subordinates from overstepping. Kozenczak.
Mm.
So you can imagine that really puts like a thorn in Kozenczak's side. He talks to Tovar afterwards and he's like, you didn't want to keep your mouth shut then, so just say what you want to say. What's your problem? And he's like, well, I didn't know that you were such a kiss ass.
Ah,
I thought you would fight for this, it's kind of like the implication. Kozenczak is like, look, they have a really big city to cover. Like, I can't. And these kids were troubled. Like, a lot of these kids were troubled, because Gacy took advantage of people that he knew
mhm.
he could take advantage of. And obviously, it worked for him for a long time. He picked boys that, were just trying to look for their break, which is crazy because he did the same thing when he went out to Vegas, as he tells the psychiatrist in episode 4.
Why is it that police don't have to agree to something similar to nurses and doctors and a bunch of people who work in hospitals that know what you did, know that these days, let's be honest, they're Googling you when you come in. So they know whatever your life is, and they still have to fix you.
Sure.
Like it can't matter, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it literally can't. And police can just be like, oh, I don't care.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily think that's true because they do have to pledge to protect and serve. And that protect and serve doesn't mean specific people. Now, I think part of the problem is the overall system doesn't work. They're overworked. Their shifts are long, just like, and you know this from working in the medical field. Your shifts are too long too,
Mm-hmm.
and it leads to mistakes and it's dangerous. And I think the same thing happens in this line of work as well, especially when you don't have enough people, you know? And so you're all trying to scramble together to cover everything. It also happens with like what pilots would be like another, like,
Yeah.
yeah, like airport system is also like that. And so I don't know that it's like, because not every cop is going to be a bad cop, right? Like, but like
Right. No,
not
no,
every
no.
doctor is going to be a bad doctor. Like there are bad doctors and there's also bad cops, but it doesn't mean that all of them are. But I think in this situation, what happened was there was just a general level of prejudice towards this type of kid. It became very much an us versus them situation.
It's like, I guess because I've been listening to a bunch of Crime Junkie lately,
Yeah.
I just feel like, and it's not even like, oh, these cops are terrible people. It's more of feeling like things that they have in place for them to, like the processes that they have in
Yeah.
place is what actually enables them to kind of be bad cops without realizing they're
Hmm.
being bad
Oh,
cops.
exactly. Because they like still think they're doing the right thing or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say, like I said, no big surprise here. Chicago's corrupt. Weird. Oh, that's still happening, by the way, to this day. This happened in the 70s. It is now 50 years later, and corruption in the city of Chicago still exists. Politically,
Mm-hmm.
specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And that trickles down, right? Because
Yeah.
if you're getting your cream off the top, then why can't the people below you?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's what all you're modeling for them is like this horrible behavior. And then anyway, we're not going to go into a whole thing about corruption, but it's very real in Chicago.
I mean, so I don't even know if this was actually ever a rule or just something that they got so used to saying that they thought it was a rule, but they don't do this anymore. But that whole, oh, contact us if the person's been missing for 24 hours, or sometimes it was 48 hours,
Yeah,
or,
I know. I know. Well, that became like that was also furthered by television. So thank you media as well,
Exactly.
because it's
Mm-hmm.
not true. But the media TV shows say that in TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, it's not been 24 hours. That doesn't matter.
Right.
That doesn't matter. But that it did become a thing, and genuinely, I at some point in my life I thought that was real.
And I feel like it probably happened with most of John's victims.
Well, even if they let's say they did get someone who would listen to him, right? Tovar has this freak out. He explains to Kozenzak like why he's so angry. And he says during this conversation, he's like, I'm not, I get the precincts didn't talk. I understand. He says like 72 or whatever and 772 didn't share information. I can understand that. There's a lot of people at play here. But you can't tell me that this is normal, that all of these report folders have like max 3 sheets of paper in them. He's like, they
Mm,
didn't go talk to the person who reported them missing. They didn't do any interviews. They did nothing. They just wrote down what happened. They did their report and they threw the file off to the side. And that's what he's so angry about. And that is like that's that corruption in I'm shocked. I would be shocked if this didn't lead to an internal affairs investigation
mhm,
because Gacy impersonates being a police officer during this time frame,
mhm,
by the way. And after this conversation with Tovar, Kozenzak does call the guy back and is like, we caught him in 10 days. You had 10 years
mhm,
and we caught him in 10 days. And the guy on the guy, I don't remember who he is. It doesn't matter because he was an a-hole. But he says that he's like, okay, but take a look at who your victim was. You had Rob Peast. If he had been gay or a delinquent or a runaway, would you have taken the time to do that? And that's a hard thing to hear because, like, Kozenzak's face kind of reflects, like, I don't know. Did you get lucky? Rob Peace was like a
mhm,
good kid,
mhm,
right? Did you get lucky in this? However, there were a lot of good kids that this happened to throughout the years that nobody would listen to their parents coming to ask about them.
mhm.
So I don't really know, but it kind of puts that doubt in your mind, like, oh, maybe this did just happen this way because Rob was a good kid and his parents pushed for it. And Kozenzak was feeling emotional in that moment or whatever. Did the stars finally align for him to be caught?
I feel like the relationship that was established with the mom
Hmm.
is what drove that a lot. Like, not that they didn't care about the victim, of course they did, but like I keep hearing I made it. But he said I feel like more than one time, like, I don't even normally do this, but I
He
made
did
you a
blow it off.
promise.
He blew it off. He said he probably ran away to Chicago. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing that the Chicago Police Department were saying. So even though Tovar is correct, Tovar is totally right. Tovar is a great detective. He really is committed to his job. He was great. His lieutenant even is guilty of doing the same thing. And to be honest, even though Tovar did look into it, initially he said, I don't want this case.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like all of you were doing it. Is
Yeah.
it frustrating that you were maybe doing better police work than the cops of Chicago? Of course it is.
Mm-hmm.
But you were all had the same predisposition to not really think or care about these kids.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting part is so Kozenzak and Tovar refer to them as kids because they are. But when they get to Chicago and they're talking to the lieutenant, the commander, or whatever, there, he says, first off, they're not kids, they're teenagers.
What?
Okay, okay. Okay. And I think a lot of that has to do with just kind of justifying it in your mind.
They're
You know?
not kids, they're teenagers.
Yeah, that they had some sort of personal culpability in this. Eh, They
Uh,
don't. They don't. But maybe that's how you sleep at night,
mm-hmm.
you know? Um yeah, it's just it's such a hard watch, man. It's such a hard watch. I can't wait for you to get to episode 4 because episode 4 was the better of the two, in my opinion. Just because it showcased so much of this emotion, but it's a hard watch. Episode 3 was great. I think episode 4 just really shines to me in these two. Um, and the story with Billy is really rough. It's rough. It's rough, and it's very emotional. It's hard. It's hard to watch. Like I said, it's just hard to watch. But I yeah, I was gonna go into doing articles, like reading articles about the episodes, but we got so we got so sidetracked on other things. It's like not even worth it now. Not even worth it now. Okay, so you did get to watch episode 2 and you started
Hmm.
episode 3. How far were you in episode 3?
Like
Not
10
at all.
minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay. You've got nothing. You've got nothing for us.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
Lot Lots of insight about episode 2.
That's okay. That's okay. Episode 2 is yeah, episode 2. Who's episode 2 about?
um oh, I can't remember the name, but like he met him in a club when he was young, and he like started off in the club with the girl, and then the boy like saw him from across the room and walked up to him.
That's okay, that's the episode I thought it was.
Okay.
Okay. That's sick. I
Mm,
can't say his last name. Okay, Travis can hear me. he just sent me he just sent me something. Deshaney versus Winnebago County Department of Social Services from 1989. The Supreme Court ruled that the Constitution's due process clause generally does not require the state, including police, to protect citizens from harm caused by private individuals. The state only has a duty to protect individuals when it has taken them into custody or otherwise limited their freedom to act on their own behalf.
so what's protect and serve about that?
What? Well, why is protect and serve their motto then? Just a motto. Okay, so Travis was telling me he just gave me the like the behind this what happened because this is a case obviously to Shaney.
Hmm.
A woman was being stabbed in a train car repeatedly. There were police officers in the train car and they left the car and shut the door. And that's how this case came about. And it was ruled that they did not have to protect her. Now, we know seeing things today that's I mean, they could walk away. They're not always, obviously, because we've seen police
Well,
off-duty police officers get involved in stuff in the last couple years a number of times.
yeah.
Um, so that's wild. And also then that's actually really scary to hear because then those off-duty police officers, even though they're doing the right thing in some of those cases, trying to help, they're not legally protected then either,
Right.
which then creates they are. Well then what? Qualified immunity assumed that they're trying to help. Well then but then why would anybody help anyone ever?
I mean, so then
Why
my
would anyone help anyone ever if they don't have to? Okay. Okay. It's more about officers that are too scared to get involved shouldn't be forced into a situation in which they're not going to handle themselves correctly.
Okay, I understand that, but if they were all like, were they still in uniform? Like, how did they
were
know
they
they were
off
all
duty or were they in uniform? No, the in that train case. They were in uniform.
uh,
Oof. And this was in 1989, by the way. This was not recent. This was a while ago. There was one in 2005 also. Re-solidified. What?
okay, because that, I always try to make it relate to my life to make me completely
Yeah,
try
of
to
course. Yeah,
understand
yeah,
all sides of it. And so then that makes me also say, okay, so on the other side of that coin, a nurse walks onto a train car and sees a woman with a bunch of stab wounds,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
but she's off duty. So she just gets off the train and goes
Well,
home.
see, you're obligated, but I don't think you're required to help. It's the same thing on a flight. When someone up front goes, "Is there a nurse here to help?" You don't have to get up and say that you're a
Right,
nurse, right? Like, so there is like you are obligated. You should help,
right,
but you're not required to.
right.
So I guess it's the same. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You do hold some obligation to the community because you're a public servant, but
Yeah.
you don't have to. I guess if you're like, no, thank you. I don't know.
I mean, because, okay, on the other side of the coin, there are 100% cases of nurses and doctors being sued because they tried to help
Oh, oh
and, like,
my gosh. You
the
can't even
person
give
died.
CPR these
Right,
days or the
right.
Heimlich maneuver without getting you have to I have to tap you and say, "Can I give you
Mm,
the?" Because that's what they train people now in CPR.
yeah.
Don't do this without asking. That's crazy. And also, if you're unconscious, how are you going to ask? But okay, sure, sue someone who saved your life.
Mhm.
Huh? Why? What did I say? But people have been sued for giving. Yeah. Yeah. That's what we're talking about, though. I'm just saying that's what they train you to do now. Yeah. 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 He was just like, stop misinforming people. He was just saying the Good Samaritan law protects people, like those cases get kicked out. But it's wild that you have, well, I mean, you can sue anybody for anything really these days.
Mhm.
You can just say that you want to sue someone. It's I've been to court before because the restaurant I was working for was being sued because there was a fight that broke out. And so a girl that was there sued us, even though we had nothing to do with the fight. And in fact, the manager got hot coffee poured over his head during this fight, and I had to call 911. But we got sued. And that's the thing. She sued us. She filed the motion. She didn't show up. So we had to take off work, go down to the courthouse, hire a lawyer, pay for the retainer or whatever, and then nothing even happened.
Oh my god.
And I guarantee she didn't even pay anything. She probably self filed, so like you can sue somebody for anything. Oh, I guess we could have countersued. We didn't because I did not go back to court, but you could. Anyway, he was just saying the Good Samaritan law protects people. I was just saying they tell you not to do that now. In CPR and first aid training, they tell you to ask, which is crazy.
Now I really want to look up the Good Samaritan law because people have a tendency to go, well, if I can't get you in this court, I'll try to get you in this other court.
Oh,
Like,
well, yeah, well,
they
it's criminal versus civil, yeah. Yeah. But that's how good old O.J. Simpson finally had to pay. So
True.
he got off in criminal court, but he did not in civil. Good Samaritan laws offer legal protection to people who give reasonable assistance to those who are or whom they believe to be injured. This is to cover people who, you remember there was like that story about that lady who administered CPR even though that guy was just sleeping.
Wait, what?
uh someone administered CPR to a guy. He wasn't dead. He was just like sleeping. Like anyway.
Wait.
Um believed to be injured, ill, in peril, or otherwise incapacitated. The protection is intended to reduce bystanders' hesitance to assist for fear of being sued or prosecuted for unintentional injury, negligence, or wrongful death. I would hate if you helped someone and then that person died still, or like you messed up and killed them like as a result. That's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um yeah, an example of such a law in common law areas of Canada. Why are you telling me about Canada? I don't care about Canada. No offense. I mean, maybe full offense intended, maybe. Good Samaritan laws may vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, as do their interactions with various other legal principles such as consent, parental rights, and the right to refuse treatment. So maybe it could eventually still be a problem, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Most such laws do not apply to medical professionals or
Mm.
career emergency responders on the job conduct, but some extend to professional rescuers when they're acting in a volunteer capacity. So, like, you wouldn't get in trouble, but like, I probably could.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I took CPR and first aid, it's nothing in comparison to like someone holding like a medical degree and license,
Right.
right? Um, so I guess it depends on who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I maybe could be sued. I don't know. Oh, that's interesting. There are only a handful of countries without Good Samaritan laws: Pakistan, South Africa, New Zealand, Singapore, and the Philippines. That's it. Everywhere else has them.
New Zealand shocks me.
Yeah, me too, actually. Hmm. What? Okay, only first aid provided without the intention of reward or financial compensation is covered. Medical
Okay.
professionals are typically not protected by Good Samaritan laws when performing first aid in connection with their employment.
Oh,
That
yeah.
makes sense. That makes sense. But that's why the hospitals have insurance coverage and all and HR and
You know,
lawyers and
I'm stuck on this case. All right.
okay. This is wild to me.
Police then should be required to not get dressed before they enter the police department
Oh, before they're on duty.
and to make sure they are undressed before they leave.
Sure, that makes sense. Is that not the
Because if
case?
if
Is that
you
not the
are
case?
dressed like a police officer,
Then
I
people are
th-
to automatically assume that you are there to help. Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know some. So, like, some precincts have rules about when you can wear your uniform because they have to ask for permission to come to schools.
Mm,
They have to get like
okay.
special permission for that. But I don't know. I don't know the full rules. And I don't know that that's across the United States. I have no idea.
Maybe the rules came into play after things like that case happened.
Oh, police can wear their uniform off duty, but it is typically only allowed for specific situations like commuting, sanctioned off duty jobs. What does that mean? Or formal events and is subject to individual police departments. So each police department has their own rule about it. So they were maybe commuting.
See, I don't think that
I
shouldn't.
get what you're saying. That to me makes sense. And that seems like that's maybe like a simple fix
Mhm.
for it. That makes sense to me. I don't I don't see why not.
Because it's
There,
like,
we solved the world's problems.
because I just feel like, okay, if they're not required to help unless they're punched in, then they shouldn't be in that uniform until they're punched in because the public doesn't know that you're not on the clock.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, they don't. Huh. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I think that's I can't think of a situation in which that wouldn't be helpful. Maybe I'm missing something. But I don't know. That seems like that solves that. How did we get here?
I don't know.
Travis! You got us completely off topic. Oh, he said no. Okay, well, I think that about wraps it up because you're not going to have any opinion. So you haven't had time to watch it, but you can. You can now. We will not be back for the next 2 weeks with Thanksgiving. That's right, because we're in America. We have Thanksgiving and Black Friday next Friday. So, peak consumerism. I have to go buy things. And then the 5th, I have an event. So we will not be back until December 12th to cover episodes 5 and 6. I almost said the wrong episodes. 5 and 6. And that will be, God willing, Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, like normal. Um,
It has to be because the next day I'm going to New York with my job.
oh, yes. The next day, the next day I have preparation for an event. So I also cannot do anything. So we will have to get it done that day. And I hope to watch an episode a week so I can give myself some breathing room here with these very heavy bits of information. So
It was very, like, I get what you're saying about the hard watch because even episode 2, like I said, like, I'm watching these people and part of my brain is like having some kind of hope that
you're like
they,
rooting for them.
yeah,
I know because they're, it's humanizing the victim. So you're like rooting for them to make it somehow,
yes.
even though we know that that's not the case. So it's just really hard. It's just really hard to watch it because you
And
know
then
what's going to happen.
John thinks that he's funny and he thinks that he's charismatic and he thinks that everyone likes him. And it's so annoying.
It is. I hate to say that I bet a lot of people did like him.
I mean, probably.
I hate to say that. Um, but he got pretty far in things like JC's for a reason, you know? And that is often what people say after the fact. Oh, they were charismatic. Oh, they were, people say Ted Bundy was good looking all the time. He wasn't,
No.
but okay. Um,
I guess, we are looking at them through a certain lens now and we don't
oh yeah, well
like,
we're seeing the evil, right? Like
yeah.
yeah, we're seeing them, and so maybe I wouldn't feel that way about no, Ted Bundy's not. He's ugly. Anyway,
No.
uh, doesn't matter, killer or not, he's not a good looking dude. Um, and yeah, so you're looking at him through the lens of what we know now. So we have to. I mean, you have to give people some slack. Like they didn't know.
Yeah.
We could say till we're blue in the face after the fact, like, well, how could you not know? They're so evil. Because they're really good at hiding it. That's how they become successful in serial killing.
I mean, even the investigating officers, I keep thinking about how, like, they're looking at him like, how did y'all not know this was the guy? But again, they're not looking at him in the same lens
No.
that,
But there's also those moments, when they're at the I don't it's like a the Legionnaires Club or whatever. And also when they're at his house, to some degree, like they can see it.
mm-hmm,
Some of that, the mask, that the mask it can really kind of fool you. I mean, that guy's mom was friends with him.
yeah, yeah.
That's crazy. Your mother, could you imagine?
And then
That's nuts.
the way he goes, "That's your son?" Like, sir,
Yeah.
first of all,
You're a murderer, but okay. Yeah, it's I don't know. They're doing a really good job of making me feel like you're there.
hmm
You're like a part of it. Um anyway, we will be back in several weeks, 2 weeks. Give us time. Kira has to watch many episodes. And so we will see y'all then. Um, thank you for watching. I hope you're watching this after the fact. If you are, please don't forget to go ahead and hit subscribe or at least just like this video. Um, we are up to subscribers, so thank you to whoever you are for subscribing. I'm guessing this series is what drew you in, but feel free to tell me if I'm wrong
and if it
in the comments
is,
because you can leave a comment.
I
You could just like say something.
promise I will 2 new subscribers. I will not drop the ball.
To be fair, don't lie to them. We're both a mess. I'm going to be late. I'm going to be late every week. I'm going to be at my computer, but I'm going to be struggling to get it to start. Or the power will have gone out and I won't have turned on the computer since then. And so it'll have to update. I'm not going to lie to you. We're not organized. In fact, we're not maybe even all that good at this. But we have
I'm I'm gonna say that I'm gonna watch the episode on Monday, and then Monday's gonna come, and then I'm not gonna watch the episode.
she's not. She's going to frantic watch it the night before
Yes.
if she can.
If I don't last minute have to drive someone to New Jersey.
Yes. Yes. We're disorganized, but it's part of our charm, I guess. I don't know. Or it's not. Or it's not charming at all and it's annoying. I don't know. Then don't watch us, I guess. Watch people unsubscribe this video. Anyway, suddenly we have 2 subscribers. Anyway, if you're watching this after the fact, just go ahead and give it a like and we'll see you in a couple weeks. And I'm sorry that we're a mess. But we love you anyway.
And you know what? You love us too.
I mean, they might. They might. I know of at least 2 people who do. All right, we'll call it quits. You guys have a good one. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody in America.
Yes. Happy
And
Thanksgiving.
I guess to those in Canada, what are you even doing? Do you have to work? That sucks.